The Reiner revelation, Hollywood's darkest day? It was supposed to be just another quiet Sunday in Los Angeles. A gentle breeze rustled the trees in the affluent Brentwood neighborhood. Birds chirped. Joggers passed by million-dollar mansions without a care in the world. And then, sirens, police tape, helicopters, and the beginning of a story that would send tremors through Hollywood, law enforcement, and the public consciousness. Because what the FBI found inside director Rob Reiner's estate that morning wasn't just shocking, it was grotesque, tragic, unthinkable. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. 15 dead women, hidden in plain sight. A beloved Hollywood icon, dead. His wife, gone. And his son, Nick Reiner? Cuffed, sobbing, and confessing to what officials would later call one of the most disturbing mass crime scenes in California history. But what really happened behind the iron gates of the Reiner mansion? How did one of Hollywood's most celebrated filmmakers, the mastermind behind hits like The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally, become the centerpiece of a crime so bizarre? It sounds like something out of a psychological thriller. Let's peel back the velvet curtain on a story that began with movie magic and ended in murder, madness, and a mansion full of secrets. But first, let's rewind. The golden boy of Hollywood. Who was Rob Reiner really? Before we dive into the FBI raid, the body count, and the explosive confession, we need to ask ourselves one crucial question. Who was Rob Reiner? To the world, he was Hollywood royalty. The son of comedy legend Carl Reiner. The face of Michael Meathead Stivic on All in the family. The director who brought us timeless stories that shaped generations. But fame has a funny way of hiding things, doesn't it? Behind the glitz and smiles, whispers of trouble had always floated through industry circles. Rob's relationships were sometimes rocky. His political outspokenness earned him enemies. And his son, Nick, well, let's just say the tabloids weren't kind. Nick had struggled for years with addiction, anger, and abandonment. He was the black sheep of the Reiner dynasty, bouncing between rehab stints and awkward red carpet appearances. Yet no one could have predicted what he'd one day confess. That he murdered his own father? That he did it because of the will? But more on that later. Because what truly blew this case open wasn't just the shocking deaths. It was what the FBI discovered hidden beneath the mansion's pristine facade. Inside the mansion, a scene straight out of a horror film. Imagine you're an FBI agent. You're walking through one of LA's most luxurious estates. Marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, art curated from around the world. But then, you open a door, and suddenly, it's not a home anymore. It's a morgue, a dungeon, a place of death. What agents found in the west wing of Rob Reiner's 15,000-square-foot estate would haunt even the most seasoned investigators. 15 deceased women. All carefully laid out, preserved, categorized. Some were buried beneath false floors. Others were hidden behind walls. One was sealed in a soundproof home studio, once used to record voiceovers for Reiner's films. Who were they? At first, no one knew. No names. No IDs. But then, one agent stumbled upon a red binder. On the cover, my collection. Inside, Polaroids, notes, dates, and a name scribbled over and over again in the margins. Nick. That's when everything changed. Nick Reiner. From troubled son to prime suspect, Nick Reiner had always lived in his father's shadow. A writer, a producer, a man who tried, desperately, to make something of himself. But the pressure was too much. The fame, the legacy, the whispers that he'd never be good enough. And then came the breaking point. After Rob reportedly removed Nick from his will earlier this year, choosing instead to donate his $100 million fortune to film preservation charities, Nick snapped. Or so he says. According to LAPD reports, Nick walked into a local precinct less than 12 hours after his parents were found dead and said 6 words that would shake the nation. I ended his life. He deserved it. He went on to tell detectives that he'd known about the hidden rooms, the collection, that he'd found the bodies months earlier, but said nothing. Why? Because he was afraid. Of his father? Of what people would think? Or was he involved all along? The evidence mounts. Was Rob Reiner living a double life? Here's where the story takes a turn no one saw coming. The public image of Rob Reiner? Warm, funny, politically engaged, a voice for justice. But inside his home, the evidence told a different tale. There were surveillance tapes, dozens of them, showing women entering the mansion, but never leaving. A basement locked with biometric access. Nick's fingerprints weren't on the scanner. Dozens of journals with chilling titles like Additions, Trophies, and Obedience. One entry simply read, "Michelle suspects. Must silence soon." Could it be? Was Michelle Reiner, his wife of decades, not just a victim, but a witness? And if so, why didn't she speak out? Neighbors told police they heard loud arguments in the weeks leading up to the couple's death. One even claimed to hear a woman screaming, "You're not God, Rob." But no one called 911 until it was far, far too late. The forensics, what autopsies reveal about the victims. The FBI quickly assembled a team of forensics experts to examine the 15 women found on the property. And what they discovered was nothing short of chilling. Some victims had been dead for years, others just weeks. Autopsy reports indicated a range of causes: poisoning, blunt force trauma, even starvation in one case. And yet, each woman had something in common. Each bore the same tattoo, crudely etched into their skin, a tiny red rose. A calling card? A symbol? A sick joke? Investigators are now working with international missing persons databases to identify the victims. So far, only 4 have been named. Each one had one chilling connection. They'd all worked on Rob Reiner's film sets at some point in the last decade. The industry reacts: shock, denial, and dark speculation. Hollywood was stunned. Tributes to Rob Reiner were replaced with silence. Celebrities who once hailed him as a genius quickly deleted their tweets. Some claimed the entire story was a fabrication. Others suggested a deep state cover-up. But the evidence was overwhelming. And the silence? Deafening. A-list actors who had once called Rob, like a second father, refused to speak to the media. One producer claimed that a secret society within the film industry had helped hide Rob's secrets for years. And conspiracy forums exploded. Was Rob Reiner part of something bigger? Was Nick framed? Or worse? Was this just the tip of a much darker iceberg? From fame to fallout, what happens to the Reiner legacy now? As investigators continue to process what may be one of the most disturbing Hollywood scandals in decades, one thing is clear. The Reiner name will never be the same. Statues are coming down. Film retrospectives have been canceled. Streaming platforms are quietly removing Rob's films from their libraries. Even the Academy has issued a statement saying they are deeply disturbed by the emerging revelations. Nick Reiner, now in custody, awaits trial. His confession? Not the end, but the beginning of a courtroom saga that promises to dominate headlines for months. But the bigger question is this: how did a man beloved by millions become the centerpiece of a living nightmare? And more importantly, how many others knew? What we still don't know, and what might still come out. As shocking as the FBI's findings were, it's what we still don't know that's perhaps the most terrifying. Where were the women abducted from? Were they lured by promises of Hollywood fame? Did Rob act alone, or was there a network? And what of the whispers that other Hollywood homes are now under surveillance? According to sources inside the FBI, Rob Reiner may have left behind one final twist: a hidden safe. It hasn't been opened yet, but agents believe it contains tapes, names, and possibly evidence that links even bigger Hollywood names to the horror hidden within his mansion. Could this scandal blow the lid off an entire elite circle? We're about to find out. Conclusion: when the spotlight turns to shadows. What started as a death notice for a famous filmmaker has now become a cultural earthquake. Rob Reiner is no longer remembered for the movies he made, but the darkness he hid. His son, Nick, will likely spend the rest of his life behind bars. But even in his twisted confession, he may have inadvertently exposed something far bigger than one man's mansion of horrors. The lesson? Even the brightest stars can cast the darkest shadows. And in Hollywood, sometimes the most beloved legends are the ones hiding the worst truths. So the next time you watch a classic film, ask yourself this: how well do we really know the people behind the camera? And more importantly, who's watching us watch them? What do you think really happened inside Rob Reiner's mansion? Was it the madness of one man, or the collapse of a corrupt empire? Share your thoughts below. Let's expose the truth together.